with offices in London, Amsterdam, New York, Washington, San Francisco, Shanghai and Berlin. James is this year's Interactive and Mobile President here at Eurobest. To talk today about creativity and fear, please welcome James.
Hello everyone.
Hello.
Hello everyone.
Hello.
Thank you very much. Not dead, that's good. Today we're here to talk about fear. And specifically, it was kind of this all started with a tweet really, and I was asked what makes creativity, and that got me thinking. So I started writing I started writing a few things for no other reason than just to amuse myself really, about what creativity might be. And I settled on fear, and we'll get into why I think that in a minute. But we will start with one of my favourite quotes, which is this: Brian Wilson's Beach Boy, and he had a lot of things to say, and a lot of drugs to take. And he said, lick the lollipop of mediocrity once and you'll suck it forever. And it's absolutely true. The second you start doing mediocre work, the second you start finding yourself being normal, and I try as hard as I can not to be normal, then you'll just continue. You'll never be able to come back from that. So anyway, I know that I've got 25 minutes, so it's probably going to be quite quick. For those of you who don't know who AKQA are, here's a little stressful of what we do. Louder. Louder. So, like I said, 15 years ago. So 15 years ago, amongst other things, I had hair, and I looked, slightly less, I don't look very impressed then, do I? Probably a late night. But back then, the reason that's up there, not to just sort of remind me of past stories, but is, back then I thought I knew it all. And this is 15 years ago. I've been straight out of college, and quite clear that I didn't do shit. So, what I started to do is I started to write these things. So, amongst other things, I learned that creativity is fear. If you aren't shitting yourself, then it's not happening. I was accused of something last night. I was accused of being eloquent. So I just want to put the record straight, I'm not. Right? So, It's a very important thing, and I tried very hard to find a different word for it, to find a word that wasn't swearing and stuff like that. But it really is that feeling of, oh fuck, I'm about to get fired or I'm about to get famous. Those are the feelings that you need in order to produce brilliant creativity. Second one, these kind of comments aren't just for creatives, this is for everyone. So it's kind of like if you're in client services or project management or technology or you're a client or whatever, then I think these are probably interesting things to talk about. Briefs should be. Lots of the time we see briefs that are like 12 pages long, or essentially RFPs, with the creative bit highlighted. And that's not brief, obviously. And so briefs, to me, need to be about a paragraph, or a sentence, or a word, is usually a good way to go. Best bit of advice I ever got given was by my first Nike client, a guy called Jack Gold. And he said, go too far, because I can always bring you back. If you don't go far enough, I'll always be disappointed. So, you know, keep that one in your mind. Being effective is more important than being digital. That was essentially one of AKQA's founding values. So if you can do it in a brochure, then do it in a brochure. You don't have to have a website or a piece of digital or an iPhone, because a lot of the time they're a bit irrelevant. Like Mum always said, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Almost forgot what Mum told me. Very bad. It's good to be first, it's better to be best, but it is best to be both. Now this is in terms of innovation. Lots of people want to innovate all the time and let's get first to market. It doesn't really work like that. It is nice to be first, and you know, the end one, best to be both, clearly. But what's more important is getting it right and being the best at what you do, and that takes quite a lot of courage, actually. And then lastly on this one, brands are behaviours. This was kind of one that's been recently kind of like generated and kind of highlighted through some meetings that we've been having with people. People seem to get bunged up on their logos and their fonts and their colours and things like this. But brands are actually behaviours. Brands are people. So, you know, it's kind of like, I'm not a scarf and a t-shirt and a pair of jeans. You know, I'm deeper than that, honestly I am. And brands are the same. And you have to get under the skin and understand how those brands behave. So that's kind of like, you know, what I think on things like that, and how the basics of creativity, if you like. Plato, a far more eloquent man than I, he said this, and I think this is very, very important from a brand's point of view, because brands should listen to things like that, because lots of brands say things because they feel that they feel they have to say something, whereas it would be better if they just shut up and waited until they actually had something important to say or something important to do. Which does bring us, you know, slightly on. We've got 5 minutes. Inspire and enable. For 300 years or so, the advertising ecosystem has been trundling along very happily, patting itself on the back every year or so, with a lot of inspiration. But what's happened in the sort of like that 300-year ecosystem is essentially broken down. And what brands start to need to do now is, whilst the inspiration stuff is very, very good, they need to be able to enable that inspiration. So it's no good telling somebody, be brilliant, you know, as a bad copy line. The brand now has to actually act upon that and show people how to be brilliant. Which takes me on, so I want to sort of like illustrate my points through some work. And I suppose these are all bits of work that at the time scared the absolute shit out of us when we were doing them. And they scared us for lots of different reasons. They scared us because they were audacious, or they scared us because they told us it couldn't be done. Or they scared Guy, our MD, particularly, because it looked like it was going to be hideously expensive. But, you know, don't listen to Guy and just carry on with it. So the first thing we're going to talk about is story. So if you're going to have an idea, first of all, if you're going to have an idea and you want to be scared, there is a kind of like a framework around that. You don't just take random risks and hope for the best, because that would be foolhardy. You actually do need a structure and some sort of meaning behind it. So story is a very big one, a narrative. Lots of people forget no matter how long or short something is, when I'm talking to someone, when a brand is talking, brand relationships are just the same as human relationships. You need to have a story to engage someone, so you need to have a beginning, a middle and an end. So we do obviously a lot of stories, we're storytellers. We have to, we work with some of the brands on this planet that produce some of the best stories in the world. Here's a very good story, just as a kind of like a random interlude. This is a guy called Ernest Hemingway. He wrote some nice books, and he wrote this story. That's not the title of the story, that's the story. I don't read much, but I got through that one reasonably quickly, and quite enjoyed it. But the great thing about that is it leaves something to the imagination, and the best stories leave something to the imagination. So it's kind of like, well, why are the baby shoes for sale? Why do they never worn them?
July 22nd, 2009. At Comic-Con in San Diego, a puzzle is revealed to a select few. Word spreads, and within hours the deciphered code has blocked speculating on an even greater mystery. With thousands now exposed to the Comic-Con clue, a telegram leads them to an exclusive preview of 221b.sh and sets fans' blogs alight with excitement. It's 2:21 AM, and as a full moon rises over London, players receive an urgent telegram reporting a robbery at the British Museum and requesting the immediate assistance of Mr. Sherlock Holmes and Dr. John Watson. 8 weeks of gameplay follow, each week bringing a new chapter in the unravelling story of the AKQA killer. With film characters setting the scene at the beginning of each one, players are presented with a case to solve and so stake their reputation upon a correct deduction. With each player taking on the role of either Holmes or Watson, for the first time a unique two-player experience wholly facilitated by Facebook Connect means players have entirely different game experiences and receive unique elements tailored to their character. But, just as the real Holmes and Watson must collaborate to solve the mystery. 221B covers the 8 weeks in Holmes and Watson's investigations leading up to the opening scenes of the Sherlock Holmes movie. So successful was the integration that the Guardian newspaper wrote, it pushes the boundaries of the adventure genre. Global response to 221B has been overwhelming, generating threads and tweets in the millions, covered in the international press, becoming the top technology story on the BBC and praised on the world's most influential blogs. Its success was realised when Sherlock Holmes became the biggest Boxing Day opening of all time. And as it was designed to behave like a console game, hundreds of new players continue to join 221B today.
You underestimate the gravity of coming events.
So that was a project we did for Warner Brothers, a storytelling project for their Sherlock Holmes film. And the brief was as simple as it could be. We're tired of movie marketing. Can you change how movies are marketed? Okay. Was the response. And we went away and started thinking about that. The great thing about that is that a lot of the time on movie marketing, you can see where the line is drawn between marketing and movie. It's very obvious, here's the website, here's the synopsis. Some people do other good things, like Dark Knight ARG, that was very, very good also. But what we wanted to do with this was we worked with the writers of Sherlock Holmes and we were on set with Guy Ritchie and his crew filming all this stuff so that you had 8 weeks of gameplay leading up to the first scene of the film. So there was no more line between what the marketing was and what the film was. It was part of the narrative, and then that narrative continued after the film as well, with some secret codes that were hidden in the end titles. Very, very scary project, because most of that stuff, most of the technology in that couldn't be done. It had never been done before. Tying in things like Flash and Silverlight into all sorts of other weird and wonderful stuff that I don't even pretend to understand. The next aspect of everything is wonder, enormously important wonder. I use the word wonder because it's a moment of wonder that we all need to look for. You give somebody a moment of wonder, whether that's for 10 seconds, 30 seconds or an hour, they'll never forget it. You think back to those moments of wonder in your childhood, whether or not it was the first time you saw Star Wars, or whether or not it's opening a specific present at Christmas. They stay with you. So our job is to create wonder and to engage people in our story and to enable people to have this wonder. So one of the examples that I'm going to use for this is something that we did for VW to launch their new GTI.
On October 15, 2009, Volkswagen launched the all-new 2010 GTI. The response was both immediate and overwhelmingly positive. VW saw an 80% jump in leads, test drives, and quote requests. Now what if we told you there was no paid media? Not a single online banner, print ad, or broadcast spot. Recognizing the overlap between the GTI's tech-savvy target audience and the millions of iPhone users, Volkswagen and AKQA launched Real Racing GTI. The game embodied everything GTI fans love about the car: innovation, performance, and style. Users shared their fastest laps by posting videos on YouTube, and an online leaderboard tracked global player rankings. In the showroom, players found a gallery and full specs on the new Mark 6. Using the iPhone's GPS function, fans could easily locate the nearest dealer and schedule a test drive. Within days, dealers were reporting sales directly connected to the campaign. To keep people playing, the winner's circle was created where users could enter to win one of 6 limited edition GTIs. Customized by AKQA and produced by VW, the cars included carbon fiber accents, a unique badge, and embroidered leather seats. Winners also received exclusive apparel and accessories. The more you played, the more chances you had to win. Fans were thrilled, and the mainstream media took note. In 1 week, Real Racing GTI became the #1 app in 36 countries around the world. With over 4.3 million downloads, what started as a US-focused campaign quickly became a global phenomenon.
So, talking in terms of courage required from a client, client, we've got, probably one of our biggest car launches of the year. We often do print and poster and TV and cinema and no, we just want to do it on mobile. Yeah, but the point is that there's background to it all. So again, it's not about just taking a random risk, because we're a digital agency, so we just want to do it on mobile. No, something like that. It's kind of like, it's all about, well, who's your target audience? What are they using? Where are they? They're all using, they've got iPhones. The research suggests they've all got iPhones. So why would you bother? Why would you bother putting something on a website? If the data suggests that they're not looking for stuff on the websites, or they're only going to very, very specific websites all the time, why use it? They're not in the same way that why use TV? They're not using it. They're using, on-demand TV channels. They're using download services. Things like that. So mobile is the best platform. So whilst it sounds risky, whilst it sounds scary, underneath it all, there's a lot of data there to protect the idea. So ideas. Obviously you need an idea. A piece of work without an idea is a turd rolled in glitter, as they say. Just start looking at time. I've got 2 ideas to show you here. First idea is a big idea. Again, it's talking about enablement. I'm sure you all remember Nike's Right the Future ad from the World Cup. A big ad, very, very good as well. So that acted as the inspiration. But as far as enablement went, it's all very well saying people write the future. Well, yeah, okay, but I don't know how to. Maybe I don't know how to. So this is where this idea of the chance came in. And the chance is the world's largest football talent scouting competition, in essence. Launched the day before the World Cup in 28 countries. The idea was that players had to create, if you wanted to enter, you had to create a fan page for yourself and put content on it and get noticed. And the more fans that you had, the more noticed that you would be, and the more you would notice Nike. 18,000 people built their fan pages, and out of those 18,000 people, there were somewhere in the region of 6 million fans generated around these players. So out of all those people, 2,500 players have been selected to take part in international trials, and over time this is still going on. Those trials happen, in their individual countries. That's taken down to 100 finalists. Those 100 finalists are then put through 4 days of intensive trials to find out the 8 people who will then be brought over to the UK, which is where Nike Academy are. Nike Academy is our football training scheme. And they will be signed up, contracted to Nike Academy as a football team. And then one of them, hopefully, will be signed by a Premier League side. So that's the idea of enabling the whole point of Write the Future.
For every new star, there is a raw talent. For every player breaking through, there's another one coming of age. Football is a constant battle, a constant audition, and its door is always open to fresh talent. That's why I say to young players all over the world, seize your chance. You never know who is watching.
So I'm running out of time, so I'm going to have to skip through that one and go to that one. Ideas are very fragile when and again, this is sort of like a lot of this stuff comes back to human relationships, and so ideas when they're born are incredibly fragile, and you both need to be, everyone at the agency and everyone client side needs to be very brave and courageous in bringing them forward. And when an idea is initially out there, it's very, very easy to just say, sounds a bit risky, let's go on with that. Let's go with something else. So it's really about the art of good parenting, an idea. It's kind of like who's bringing up the baby. So you can't have like one parent who's doing a brilliant job and is egging it on, and then the other parent who's kicking it every now and then and not really caring, because then that's a very mixed up child and a not very happy idea either. So both sides of the equation need to take part in that and need to understand that they are going to feel a lot of fear on audacious ideas, but certainly things like the Chance and the VW stuff and the Warner Brothers stuff. But if everyone has faith and everyone has trust in each other, then things work out. Especially true with something like Fiat Eco-Drive. I'm not going to play the things, I'm sure we all know what Fiat Eco-Drive is by now. But Fiat Eco-Drive really couldn't have existed without the courage of the actual individual client. And when I talk in terms of client, I am actually talking about the individual human being rather than the brand. Because you can have an enormously innovative brand with not a particularly innovative person working for it. So you need to make very, very sure that you educate your individual client, or your individual client is inspired and inspirational. Because you can be the best agency in the world, and if you've got a client that doesn't really care, you're not going to get very far. So innovation and creativity is risk, a lot of risk. We have another saying at AKQA, clients only ever get the work they deserve. So again, if you are a forward-thinking, you want to open your mind, you don't mind the fact that your agency is going to come back with some pretty way-out ideas, then you're going to get fantastic work. And likewise for the agency, you're going to be able to deliver on that work. Such a piece of work was something that we did for Xbox. Initially, they were very, very sceptical about this particular piece of work. They wanted to add more stuff to it to make it safer for them. But instead of just being childish about it and throwing our toys out of the pram, we sat down with them and we educated them about it and how they could, what we're proving to them and what we're showing to them. They need to trust us on it, and it will be good. And the end result was one of their most successful campaigns of last year. Play it for you. snowbombing event. So we invented a new game, obviously Rock Band and Guitar Hero and things like that were big. So we invented Yodeling Hero with a 14-foot alpine horn. And you could also upgrade to a tri-horn, which was quite cool. And you got a free goat as well, which was nice. So just skip past that. So here's a word I fear. This is the one that really shits me up. Viral. Lots of people talk about viral. I fucking hate virals. Right? Why do I hate virals, right? Here's why I hate virals. Because it's a nonsense. Viral is, you know, it assumes that the mechanism for dispute is already built in. It's not built in. It's like, I've got a cold, right? And, you know, to you, sir, you know, I come and, if I want to sneeze on you, you know, my virus isn't going to come over to you and engage you in conversation, and, you know, you choose to share my cold, and then maybe choose to share it with some other people, and they can accept or decline and like it or poke it or whatever they want to do with it. You know, you don't get a choice, you're just going to get my cold whether you like it or not. And so if virals were really actually what they would be like this, right? And I know this is a departure from what I'm talking about, but it really pisses me off, so I've got to get it out of my system, right? It'd be like this, it'd be like, you get a message like, dude, check this out, it's brilliant. So you check it out, oh, it's a funny cat, isn't it great, right? But what would happen is this funny cat would suddenly spread over your entire computer system. It would take over your Twitter account, it would take over your Facebook page, and then eventually it would take over the world and crash everything. That's what a virus is. That's a viral. It's nonsense. It's not about virus, it's about shareability. Shareability has human interaction built into it. It has kudos built into it. It has social currency built into it. You know, if I share something with you, it says something about who I am. Giving you a virus doesn't really say very nice things about me. So, got that out. So what makes something that's really, really shareable? Three things really. It's quite simple. It must be relevant. It's very important. Relevant. I think I did an interview a few years ago, and I said the word relevant 21 times in it. It's a bit embarrassing, but it's true. It's a very important word. It must be relevant to the situation or who you're talking to or wherever. Timely is very good. If it's got timely elements in it that people recognise in the great cultural environment, if it's of a moment, then that makes something very, very shareable. But most importantly, unexpected. People are dying for brands to do something that's unexpected because most of the time they know what's coming. You know, Christmas TV ads. People know what's coming. Some lorries are going to come over the side of a hill, and mum and dad are going to kiss each other and hug each other. It makes me want to puke. So, what would be nice is if somebody did something different around that. And I've got a few examples, one of which isn't AKQA's, just before we go, just as examples of relevant, timely and unexpected. The first one was for Pot Noodle, and this was done last year for St. Patrick's Day. You might remember the Guinness ad of, it was like in a Spanish village, lots of things knocking into each other that eventually resulted in a big pint of Guinness. Most expensive ad of all time at that point in time. And rife for pot noodle, an English brand. I don't know if you know what pot noodle is. Pot noodle is a delicious English delicacy of dried noodles with a pea in it. Half day of St. Patrick's Day with our piss take of their very expensive ad. The next piece I want to show isn't AKQA, but it's one of my favourite pieces of this year. Who's been on chat roulette? Nobody, a couple of people are admitting to it. You've all been on it, haven't you? It's a brilliant thing. Don't ever do it with your mum. I made that mistake. Nice big cock. Anyway. So this is with chat roulette again. Relevant, timely, unexpected. This is to advertise a movie. I'm not going to give it away. All of these projects I showed you have caused an awful lot of fear, whether it's been our agency or whether it's been our clients. But the overriding factor is that we've all trusted each other enough to kind of ride those storms through, produce brilliant work. And I totally believe that you can only produce brilliant work if you are scared. And I think it's far scarier not to have those feelings. So I'm going to leave you with a project that was literally launched the other day. Another pot noodle one. We came up with this idea a couple of years ago. Wouldn't it be brilliant to have Christmas dinner in a pot noodle? Wouldn't life be complete if we did that? And so they've actually released it now, and it's a product that you can buy in the shops. a pop noeldal, and we've just finished this little spot for it, which I hope you enjoy. Thank you very much. Have a good Christmas, everyone.